6:20 It was pitch black outside, looked beautiful. Got a bus all the way to Wolverhampton, pitch black all the way, looked beautiful. I'm sure in the morning when I go back it'll look even better in daylight. Coming to new places, you always discover these quirky little things about certain places. It's wonderful coming to Milton Keynes where you leave 3 empty seats at the front of the room. Presumably one is symbolically there for John Milton. Presumably one's there for the Economist. But I don't know who the third mystery guest you're expecting is, but anyone knows, do tell them the chairs are empty. Yes, 10 minutes. I get longer than you because I'm being paid a very small amount. So I do have books for sale as well, and a train fare to pay. Mark, can you come here a moment? Can you shuffle those? I'm going to start with this poem, because it's quite a good poem to begin something like this with, because it really doesn't matter if you listen or not. There's no substance to it. There's certainly no narrative thread you have to follow. You can just dip in, dip out. You won't have missed anything. Thank you. Thoroughly shuffled?
Yes.
Because I do this quite a lot, I quite like to not know what's happening. So each stands on a different card, completely random order. Nobody's ever heard it quite like this. This poem is approximately 650 years of Heat magazine, compressed into about 2.5 minutes of contemporary rhymed English verse. And it goes tonight, like this. Dame Judi Dench has her own bench that only she can sit on by the Serpentine. Boris Johnson is my best chum because he put Dame Judy's bench next to mine. Hildegard of Bingen lives on a winged, a prayer and a vision of the paradise to come. Julian of Norwich, while swallowing her porridge, told Hildegard of Bingen to shove it up her bum. Abraham Lincoln would have one drink and dance around the whites with the trousers undone. Haile Selassie designed his own chassis on the first trip out, drove over a nun. Paul Gauguin had a white van, but he couldn't get the petrol in 1882. Vincent van Gogh was a bit of a toff, and he wouldn't have spoken to a person like you. Physically a wreck, only held together by a cellulose string. Robert De Niro could count up to 0 by using his fingers and his toes and his thing. Jeremy Hardy and Linda Lusardi have nothing in common except for their name. St Thomas Aquinas likes to remind us exercising rigorously leads to sprains. Eric von Daniken stands like a mannequin in the lingerie departments of department stores. Richard Burton's hid behind the curtains wearing a skirt and ladies' drawers. Salvador Dali shot on safari an elephant, a rhino in his own left foot. Seamus Heaney is really quite teeny, climbs up the chimney to eliminate the soot. George Bernard Shaw had a beautiful snore, which sounded like the rustle of a zephyr in the trees. Samantha Fox bought shares and stocks in people who say thank you but who don't say please. Luther Vandross auditioned once for Bros, but he couldn't reach the high notes naturally. Paul Daniels has fairly normal balls, at least according to Debbie McGee. The Dalai Lama has only one pyjama, he irons it for hours to get a nice crease. Lady Chatterley's recently and lastly been making crank calls to the fire and police. Sir Ian McKellen would travel to Helen to back for a taste of Bombay duck. Nicole Kidman pointed at my shin where the snake had bitten, offered me a suck. Alfred Lord Tennyson can only eat venison on alternate Wednesdays with ladies from Paris. Roger McGough can only get off with an accidental rubbing of ointment on his knee. Gustav Klimt walked with a limp, thinking all the while of ladies in the nude. Uri Geller bent an umbrella, attempting to use it for something rather rude. J.R.R. Tolkien likes to go walking, singing to himself with the songs from Cats. Plato and Homer, metal in a coma, astrally projecting their own wearing hats. Richard E. Grant, religious prant, reporting around quite well off, but he's never ever lent a fiver to me. David Bowie didn't really know he invented Dada in 1917. Andre Breton is getting a sweat on, bombarded by gamma rays turning rather green. Jean-Paul Sartre loved a baked well tart, but Simone wouldn't let him even have a little taste. Albert Camus knew exactly what to do, and he never let a lively little nibble go to waste.